You've got mail. You've got mail.
Alright, I'm back, guys. I know a lot of people hate going to these reserve forces training, but I kind of enjoy it sometimes. I get to take a break from all the work I have in the real world. And also, I got to meet a lot of my friends who served at the same base with me at the same time. So that was also pleasant. We got to catch up and talk about our lives a little bit, so pleasant experience. So let's get to the point now. Disclaimer, before I start this video, I have to tell you that if the celebrity that you really like or you're a big fan of has some special job or special duty in the military, then it can be a little bit different and the schedule may vary depending on your celebrity's job. Without further ado, let's get to the schedule. So usually in the military, everyone wakes up around 6 a.m. There's a certain song that the military uses to wake up its soldiers. And still, to this day, whenever I hear that song, my body reacts without me wanting it to, and I just wake up just like that. So, you get up, you make your bed, and get dressed in your military uniform. Then you run out to the field where you will go through a roll call. The officer in charge will make sure everyone's okay. Then you'll do a military style stretching. Then you'll go for a run and exercise for a bit and wake your body up and go eat breakfast. And I'm gonna tell you, the meals in the military can be pretty dull and disgusting. Of course, there were days when we got to eat a lot of delicious food, but when the cooks, who are also soldiers, are cooking huge amounts of food for hundreds and thousands of people, it's not easy to make the food the best quality. So, it's alright. I was okay with it. You get used to it. Then after breakfast, you go back to your room and you get washed, get dressed, start getting ready for your daily work. I think when I was on active service, we had about 30 minutes to get ready and get washed before we started our work. Obviously, the daily schedule changes every day. It can be training, it can be physical labor. It's just basically what you have to do during the day. For example, if we're going to shoot that day, we all get our guns and the necessary materials ready and go to the shooting range where we shoot. If there's something that needs to be fixed or built within the base, we do that. Like for example, this is a stupid example by the way, but when I was at my base, I remember the day the captain of my base wanted to build a basketball court out of cement. So we built a basketball court for the day. So sometimes we do stupid things like that, but the soldiers do a lot of good work as well. For example, if there's a flood in the nearby area, the soldiers go out and help the civilians clean up the mess and help them re-stabilize their lives. Just recently, Korea saw one of its biggest mountain fires. It burned a lot of people's farms and houses and whatnot. And during this process, not just the firefighters, but also the soldiers were put into action. They helped clean the mess and put out the fire. So they do a lot of good work for the people. Then around 11:30 to 12, you line up for another roll call before lunchtime. Then you eat lunch. Then you have until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon to chill. I usually like to use the time to sleep or work out, but some people like watching TV or going to the PX, which is the military base's supermarket where you can grab a snack or buy things. And a lot of my friends who had girlfriends like to call their girlfriends during this time. Then around at 1, you start work again. Obviously, this whatever you were doing before, you just kind of carry on and finish whatever you have left over. Until like 4:30ish, this continues, which is when you start your physical workout time. This is when they make you run a whole lot and do some lifting, basically anything to get you stronger. And sometimes they made us play soccer, which was my favorite thing to do during this time. At around 5:30, this stops and you line up for roll call again. And then you go eat dinner. After dinner, you have complete free time until 8:30. So again, like lunchtime, this time is completely free. It's usually from 6 to 8:30. During this time, you can do whatever you want. Back when I was in the military, one of my favorite things to do during this time was learn jiu-jitsu from my friend who was a professional jiu-jitsu athlete. So he taught me a lot. I really enjoyed sparring with him during this time. And sometimes I used the karaoke machine. Yeah, they usually have karaoke machines in the base. I also used the computer room to get on Facebook and talk with some friends. What else did I do? Then at 8:30, you start cleaning the base and getting ready for your night roll call. The officer in charge will usually inspect the base and see how clean it is. I remember one officer from my base who would always wear a white mask during this roll call and make sure there wasn't a single dust on top of the door or on the windows or in the bathrooms. So every time he was in charge, we had to really get the cleaning done well. And then at like 9:30ish, your night roll call starts. At around 10, everyone goes to sleep. This is the general schedule that every soldier follows in the Korean military. And I'm pretty sure a lot of your favorite K-pop artists and stars have or had a schedule just like me. Just watching a lot of girl groups on TV, playing soccer, walking around the base, and waiting to be discharged. And honestly, some people really hate being in the military because the service is mandatory here in Korea. But honestly, I really didn't mind. Everyone has to do what they can do to defend the country when you have a very unstable neighbor just on top of you. And I know some of you out there who are international K-pop fans also might hate Korean military service because it takes your favorite artists or stars away for a few years. But you shouldn't be mad at the military. You should be proud of them, the artists that you're really supporting, because they're doing their part to defend their country, and that's not something everyone can do. And I think it's much better than some of the other artists who try to escape their mandatory duty as a citizen of this country. Anyhow, I'll leave it at that. And like always, if you found this video interesting or I answered some of your questions, like this video and subscribe to my channel for more information on K-pop and Korea. Until then, see you next time.